You want to mess with my career and my freedom? Watch your entire life go down in flames. Part 2. The final straw. The A-list Gabby used an inconsolable and desperate Sue to attempt to sue me for harassment. This is how it transpired. Remember all those individuals who were still using SIM? They all came to the 11 of us for trading guidance, and we did all we could to assist them. We separated the SIM merchants into groups, and I mentored roughly 4 of them. Sue was among them. As any trader will tell you, the time before profitability is often one of losses, unless you're really talented, and is fraught with tension and dread, hence the need for high EQ. It's quite normal, and you'll get over it. Sue was going through a difficult time one evening. We were discussing her deals. She had a horrible trading day overall when she came out weeping. I understand how you feel. I, too, had shed some tears, so I consoled her as best I could. I clumsily held her hand and stroked her on the back till she calmed down. I still don't know how to soothe someone. What I didn't realize was that Gabby had noticed us. She contacted Sue the next day and offered her an offer, as I subsequently discovered. Gabby would make certain Sue retained her job and would obtain her a large sum of money if she claimed I had harassed her. Sue accepted Gabby's offer, and what happened next was a nightmare. It began with a formal reprimand from corporate, followed by a hearing in which I was not present to defend myself, due to Gabby's forgetting to give me the summons. She apparently pushed hard to get me dismissed. My old supervisor came to my defense, which was the only reason I was able to maintain my job. Despite his assistance, I lost my quarterly bonus, about $100,000, and half of my holdback, approximately $400,000. I was also required to attend workshops that basically consisted viewing the same 3-hour-long video on assault in the workplace until I acknowledged in writing that I was an abuser, and that it would be on my record. Gabby would have all the ammo she needed to wreck my life if that occurred, I realized. So, every day, I arrived at the workplace at 7 a.m. and watched the 3-hour film till 10 a.m. refused to accept it, then go to work, leave the office at 11:20 p.m., and repeat. For about 7 months. It was exhausting and torturous, and Gabby never let me forget it. The day following my reprimand, all of the employees I had been coaching were reassigned. Gabby notified me through mail the next day that my clip size had been reduced from 1,000 to 20 contracts. I had to acknowledge that I was bloodied. I was down, but the babe didn't realize she should have killed me. The retaliation step 1. Destroy Gabby's career. I began documenting everything that happened to me at work. It began when I saw that when I walked out to lunch, someone would unlock my desk drawer and tamper with my notebook, where I put down my trading ideas for the day. Gabby was the only one who had a key except me. She had apparently learned my lunchtime routine and would access my locker while I was out smoking for the full 4 to 5 minute break. She would then transcribe my trading strategies for the day and hand them over to Sue. I'd even saw them once, but they didn't notice me. I took pictures of it. I let things run for a time to see if I could build a pattern via Sue's deals. I then contacted 2 of the permanent merchants who were closest to me and explained my strategy to them. Remember when I claimed that practically no money was making its way to corporate, and the fact that there were just 11 active traders? The situation had only worse. The office was now crowded, although there were only around 15 active dealers. Only the head of operations, my old boss, could allow live trading, and he was a severe one. Consider that my earning potential has been reduced by more than 90%. My 2 pals agreed to my strategy, and they reduced their trading by about half. This effectively placed the branch in the red, and 3 weeks later, we were informed that the head of ops and other top brass were leaving. The next step was to force Sue into a corner. Pleas, a tier or 2, and disclosing that I had evidence that she had been stealing my work were enough to secure a written confession from her that Gabby had organized my whole harassment situation. Step 2. Destroy Gabby's marriage. It didn't take long for me to figure out that all those guys that came into the workplace were Gabby's loves. She'd depart for 2-hour lunches, leaving her phone switched off. I took advantage of one of these opportunities. Gabby had already departed, so I crept inside her office and found her Facebook page open. Everyone knew she was usually on there, and it was a source of contention since she had barred the rest of us minions from using it. I logged into her messenger, and presto. Explicit messages, nudes, rants about her spouse and his shortcomings, the 6 or so men with whom she had cheated, it was all there. I copied and pasted the info into her private email, which she was also signed into Always Clear Cache, you guys, sent it to my private email, and then erased it from her sent folder. I had the ammunition on my phone and was ready to send it. Step 3. Destroy Gabby's relationship with her children. Now, I'll admit straight away that I'm not proud of this step. But just sending the information to her spouse wasn't enough to my justice nut. So I waited until Thursday, when I knew he'd be at the office with the kids. Because it was the same day the corporate head honchos were riding into town, the pro-revenge gods saw fit to bless me. Thursday. I arrived in the office at 7 a.m., as usual, with all of my paperwork, from my appointment letter to the multiple rejected requests for promotion. Sat through the 3-hour harassment movie, yeah, I was still doing that, and awaited the moment. The businessmen, including my previous boss, came and got immediately into a meeting with Gabby. I was certain that they would summon me to explain why I had been attending a harassment awareness class for over a year, and I was prepared for them. I was summoned in shortly after lunch, about 2 o'clock. The question was posed, and before I could respond, Gabby leapt on the opportunity, as I said she would. She went on a tirade about how I had been disrespectful and how I loved to touch the female staff. Her smile indicated that she felt she was winning. Then I brought out Sue's letter, and the smile on her face curled. Sue was summoned quickly and confirmed my story. She expressed her regret. She was dismissed on the spot and instructed to go wait for her last check at the receptionist. I had no compassion. I was having a good time. Next, I took out my trade analysis and informed them about Gabby coming into my locker and grabbing my notes for Sue. Gabby flatly denied it. Sue was summoned again. She flatly rejected it. My ex-boss got into the corporate network and downloaded Sue's and my trade data. He used my notes to compare the positions we both took. He said that it was correct. Sue was fired once again. They assured me they would restore my seized bonus and holdback plus an additional $50,000. That was just okay with me. The justice was sufficient. Then I saw Gabby's husband walking into her office as usual, with their 2 children in tow. "Your spouse is here," I said as I took out my phone and smirked at her. When she turned around, she spotted him. She excused herself for a moment to inform him that he would have to wait. "Sure," responded my old employer. I hit the transmit button. Edit. In terms of the aftermath, Gabby's husband really lost it. Her office was glass-walled, and the rest of the space was open, so we could all hear what they were yelling about. He eventually went with their children in tow, sorry kids, and Gabby followed him, still yelling at him. Then she saw us all gathering around her, and the expression on her face was hilarious as she contemplated which element of her life to attempt to rescue. She let go of her spouse, but an hour later she was fired. Because there was no one else left, my favorite boss remained behind. He remained for a month to teach the company's longest-serving employee to take over as manager. She has the most amazing intellect I've ever encountered. Unfortunately, the branch was still suffering with so many workers who were not earning a living, and they were forced to close it down. However, they shifted all of the high-performing personnel to its other locations in London, 2 branches, and India, 9 branches. So, I assume no one was fired unfairly. I'm still following Gabby on Facebook. There have been a number of postings recently that say, "I'm single because I'm too amazing." I almost feel terrible for her, but then I recall the 3-hour video and I realize I'm being ridiculous. Sue, according to LinkedIn, moved about from business to firm until landing a job as a research analyst. My favorite boss is still employed at the business. We chat every now and then. For a time, I took a vacation from trading. After all the garbage that happened, I wanted a vacation, so I declined their offer to migrate to India. I went to work with a friend of mine who has a consulting firm. I'll return to the market when I'm ready. There is no other work that is as demanding and rewarding as mine. Wow, that was a long time, but I believe that's the end of my pro-revenge. Edit 2. Holy cow. This went off the rails. There's also gold. Thank you so much, strangers. I'll attempt to get to all of the messages as soon as possible. I'm delighted you everyone had a good time. I did as well. At least, the vengeance part. Edit 3. A few men have said that my tale is BS because of several assertions. I'll go through the most prevalent ones. Guys went through my post history and discovered another Ask Reddit thread where someone asked when the last time I yawned was. It's a little too lengthy and stupid. I can't assist you if you read that and honestly believed it was real. You may pretend I'm a footless, noseless, 80-year-old Vietnam vet or a young guy attempting to create a name for himself. It's all up to you. Others have discovered another Ask Reddit thread in which someone asks individuals who like their employment what they do. I said that I write papers for a living. That is also correct. Since my freshman year in college, I've been writing. It's something I like doing. I have the ability to write all day and then some. That work took me through college, and I earned enough to cover my student loan payments. Do I continue to write? Yes. I do it because it's difficult, and as I said in that piece, I learn something new every day. In reality, I'm still writing since my job at the consulting firm isn't full-time. You can, after all, accomplish more than one thing at a time. Others, on the other hand, have hunted out a random remark I wrote on a hilarious comment. I typed something like, "I laughed so hard at work that I nearly got punished." And they wonder how you can claim you write from home while still working at the office. Yes, I can write at home and go to work. It's what happens when you have a lot of free time. I'm not a one-dimensional someone whose profession serves as their identity. Neither are you, hopefully. Another person discovered a statement of mine in which I said that I'm African. For whatever reason, she didn't think Africans participated in financial markets or something. The fact that I'm active on the r/men's rights subreddit is by far the most important factor. And it's correct. Yes, I am. Of course, after being wrongfully accused, I began searching for explanations on the internet. It got me thinking. And in terms of false allegations, I wholeheartedly accept the MRA viewpoint. I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not here to persuade you to alter your views, and I really hope you never have to go through what I did. People have committed suicide as a result of such nonsense. It's not anything to make light of. Finally, to the individual who doubts that you can earn that much money right out of college. Yes, you can. Phew. I'm glad I got it off my chest. Another individual puzzled how HR ended up as the branch's leader. I believe I said before that she was HR/ops. If she wasn't completely inept, the ops role should have qualified her for branch head. In the end, I suppose you simply have to decide whether to believe or not.